Hello, and welcome to another Rochester Repertory Theater YouTube exclusive interview. I'm Lisa Modry, and we're here again today with Larry Sinak, the president of the board of the Rochester Repertory Theater, to learn a little bit about what that job entails. Thanks for joining us, Larry.
Thank you for inviting me. It's good to be here.
So tell us some little details about the board. How long have you been a member of the board, not just president, but overall?
I've been on the board, I think, 12 years.
12 years, okay. Consistent all the way
Yes.
through? Okay. And how long of that time have you been the president?
8 years.
8 years, all right. All right, getting seniority there.
Yeah, my turn. I think I've passed my due date.
Okay. Gotta find someone worthy of
Yes.
that to pass the hat. Got it. And how many members sit on the board total?
Right now, we have 10 members on the board. It's a little bit flexible.
Okay.
We're in the process of revising the bylaws. I realized reading through the bylaws as they're currently formed state that the board will consist of at least 3 members.
Okay.
So the minimum is 3, and
Met
there's no maximum in the bylaws.
Okay.
So we could have hundreds.
So how are board members selected, and are there term lengths? How long are the typical terms?
This is where I have to confess that the board has been a little dysfunctional in terms of not following the bylaws precisely. We are in the process of reviewing and revising our bylaws. But for the last 8 or 9 years, since we moved into the new space here, we haven't followed the bylaws precisely because we've had a huge task just keeping the theater running after we were kicked out of our old space on Broadway and had to move here. When we get the bylaws revised, there will probably be terms of 3 or 4 years, with people allowed to serve 2 consecutive terms and then have to take a period of time off before coming back on the board. And the board members will be selected by a nominating committee, or the new potential board members will be selected by a nominating committee. We don't have a functional nominating committee right now. That will probably be in effect by the end of this year, by the end of 2017. Okay. In the meantime, getting on the board is like our best form of advertising, word of mouth. So if you know somebody who is interested in being on the board of directors here at the Rep, they can talk to myself as president of the board, or actually they can talk to any board member or pass their name along to anybody who's affiliated with the Rep, and they can pass it on to me. And we can talk to them and see what their interests are, make sure they understand what their responsibilities are. And then getting on the board just involves being approved by a majority of the current members of the board of directors.
So what are some of your specific responsibilities as the board president?
When I took the job, I declared my primary responsibility to be not to be the last president of the board of directors.
Good goal.
That was when the theater's existence was still in question.
Yes.
So I've managed to keep that goal intact for 8 years, and I'm hoping to pass the job on to somebody else soon, so that I can say that I completed my term with that goal met. The specific responsibilities is laid out in the bylaws of this theater and most nonprofit organizations are to preside over regular meetings. We have monthly meetings here at the Rep, and to organize and keep intact a functioning committee structure or volunteer structure. The Rep is a little different from a lot of places because this is entirely a volunteer organization. So we have to make sure that we nourish and encourage volunteers and try to make this a fun place to work. And I try to make the board a fun place to be. But the primary responsibility of the board is to maintain the financial integrity of the institution, which is always a huge challenge for any nonprofit arts organization. So I preside over the monthly meetings. I make sure that we have people on committees or assigned to tasks that need to be done. Marketing, keeping the books, keeping the minutes of the meetings. And I try to set an agenda for the meetings, although I usually just keep it in my head instead of writing it down, which irritates everybody. And I think overall, I've tried to set a tone for the theater, that this is a place where people who are passionate about producing live theater, particularly serious theater, are welcome and can do what they like and enjoy it here.
I like that. So in your tenure as board president, is there one either specific accomplishment or favorite moment or memory that you'd like to share?
Just having the theater continue to exist for over 30 years, and increasing our audience, and being able to produce the kinds of shows that we want to do. I think continuity is more important to me right now than any specific accomplishment. I have some specific accomplishments on stage as an actor that I'm very proud of, but that doesn't really relate to my position as president of the board.
So the continuity as a whole and maintaining that's a pretty big accomplishment. All right, so last question for you. What is your favorite thing about the rep?
My favorite thing about the rep. It's a paraphrase of actually what I just said, which is that this is an all-volunteer organization where people who are passionate about producing live theater, particularly serious live theater, are welcome and are able to come here and perform those tasks.
Wonderful. Well, you heard it here. If you are passionate about live theater, particularly serious live theater, but any live theater, if you have a passion, we have a place for you here and you are welcome. So please contact us, contact any of the volunteers, any of the board members. You will see on your screen at the end of this video the names of the current board members as well as some contact information if you'd like to follow up. Thanks again for joining us. Thank you, Larry.
Thank you.
I'm Lisa Modry, and this has been another Rochester Repertory Theater YouTube exclusive interview. Please like us, follow us, comment. You can comment on our YouTube videos. You can follow us on our Facebook page. Let us know what you'd like to see, who you'd like to see interviewed in the future, and let us know your questions. We'd love to hear from you. Thanks again.